All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start this lesson off by giving all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to all the brothers who are fervently pushing the word in sincerity and in faith. And Shalom to all the sincere believers. Now, this lesson is going to be based on this headline right here that reads Trump tariffs live updates. U.S. moves forward with 104% China tariffs, other reciprocal duties. So, hey, things are about to get very, very bad over here in the U.S. because China, you know, imports a lot of things here. Also, through the spirit, I'm gonna, get some more information and then get some precepts, and Lord's will, you're edified. All right, so I got this pulled up. It says, what does China sell to America? And it says China sells a wide variety of goods to America, with the top exports including machinery, electrical equipment, telephones, and computers, as well as furniture, toys, and clothing. So here's a more detailed breakdown. Machinery and electrical equipment. This category includes computers, broadcasting equipment, and other machinery, which are major export items. Consumer goods. China is a major source of U.S. imports for furniture, bedding, lamps, toys, games, sports equipment, paint, and other miscellaneous manufactured items. China remains a major source of U.S. imports of textile products. China also exports clothing, footwear, and petroleum products. Broadcasting equipment, 54.5 billion. Computers, 37.9 billion. Office machine parts, 14.3 billion. Furniture, bedding, lighting, signs, and prefabricated buildings, 30 to 66 billion in 2023. Toys, games, sports requisites, 29.36 billion. Plastics, 23.25 billion. So China is, a major fixture, for the goods that are here in America. And with Trump being the way that he is and putting all of these tariffs on China, bro, America may not be getting any of these things. And that's going to cause the few things that America does have that are sent here by China to go up in price, because China's not going to be sending it here anymore. See, Trump is not smart. Him putting all these tariffs on America's allies or just countries that America does business with, it's going to destroy this place. Trump has this America first doctrine, he thinks that America can just create all of its own stuff, and it's like, no. Like, the allies help bring in things, that's how, that works. That's how, allies and partnerships work. But Trump is pushing all these other, he's pushing all these countries away. He's pushing his own allies away. And so what's going to happen is America's allies are going to start linking up with America's enemies. And America is going to be left on its own. And that is not going to end well. And that's exactly where we're headed. Trump is pissed off Canada. He's pissed off Mexico. He's pissed off China. He's pissed off the world, really. Trump hasn't even been in office that long, and he's already pissed off basically the entire world. But this is what the Lord wants. Luke 12:51. Suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth? I tell you, nay, but rather division. And that's what's happening. With all these tariffs that Trump is just throwing around, it's pushing America's allies away. It's dividing them. America is really about to suffer horribly because of Trump, because of the wicked things that he's doing. And this is all the work of the Lord. The Lord is putting the spirit on Trump to do this because the Lord's goal is to destroy America, to bring this wicked kingdom down. And it seems like he's going to use Trump to do it. Second Timothy 3:1. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. And that's right. Dangerous times. Because the cost of everything is going to skyrocket. It already has started. And everybody's talking about how everything is just becoming more and more expensive. And the more expensive things get, the more pissed off people are going to get because it doesn't have to, people are going to think that it doesn't have to be like this. So then they're going to start blaming Trump. They're going to start blaming his supporters who voted for him. And eventually that's just going to start leading to chaos, fights breaking out in the streets, people getting stabbed up, shot up, people's homes getting broken into and firebombed and shot up as well. Like, it's about to get very, very violent out here. That's the direction that we're heading in. Because when people can't afford groceries, they can't afford to pay their bills, they can't afford to have a car, they can't afford clothes, they can't afford to go on vacation, they can't afford to even take time off work. They got to get 3, 4, 5 jobs. Everybody in the house got to have a job. You know, people got to start moving back in with their families, which they've already started to do. They've been doing that since the pandemic. Things are going to just get more and more tense out here for everybody. And the more tense it gets, the more dangerous it's going to get. And this is what the men of the Lord have been speaking on. We are in the last days, and these are going to be the most dangerous times that the world has ever experienced. James 4:9. Be afflicted and mourn and weep. Let your laughter be turned to mourning and your joy to heaviness. And there's a lot of people out here that are going to be mourning and weeping. There's a lot of people out here that are already mourning and weeping because they're struggling so hard. They got to work 2, 3 jobs and they still can't get past barely surviving. People who have jobs, their job is not paying them enough to keep up with all of this. The price of everything is going up and people are just not getting paid enough to balance it out. So people are going to start just losing their minds. You got jobs firing people left and right. Because a lot of jobs are replacing people with robots. You got a lot of businesses that just can't stay afloat, so they're shutting down. And I was watching this one video where this guy said that it took him 6 months to find a new job. And that number is just going to extend more and more. It's going to be taking people 10 months, a year plus, hopefully we don't have that much time here, but if we did, it would just take people so long to get a job because there are no jobs out here because all these different businesses are shutting down. The gig economy is oversaturated. Everyone's doing, DoorDash and Lyft and Uber and all of that. So that's oversaturated. You know, like everything's falling apart. Everything is falling apart, just as the men of the Lord have been prophesying about. Like it says, let your laughter be turned to mourning and your joy to heaviness. And that means all the fun people were having, going on vacations, being able to, buy whatever car they wanted, whatever sneakers they wanted. If they were into video games, they would just go to the store and buy that, buy all the food they wanted to buy, just living it up basically. All of that is going out the window. Like, I'm 27, I'm still relatively young. And I was looking like at some video games and it's like $80 for one video game now. It used to be like $40, $50. Now it's $80. The game systems themselves are damn near $1,000. You know? Like it's crazy. Like everything is just skyrocketing in price. And because I know this place is gonna get destroyed, I don't care because I'm just like, hey, this is all part of the Lord's will, so let it be, let it be what it is. But for people who love this place and who don't, you know, follow this truth and who have put all their eggs in the American basket, seeing all of this happen, it's destroying people. People are all over the internet mourning and weeping. And they're full of heaviness because they can't cope. It's becoming way too much for these people. Like it says in 2nd Ezra 8:50, for many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world because they have walked in great pride. And no one is more proud than these Americans, than these Babylonians. And the Lord, he's bringing that pressure. He's bringing that judgment. These Americans are going to suffer more than anybody, and they deserve to. America has to reap what it has sown. On top of the price of everything skyrocketing, you have all the fires, all these storms and tempests that have been rocking these different cities. It's just, everything's just getting worse, man. Then you got all the protests that have been happening. Like, this place is finished, man. America is finished. America is a lost cause. There is no making America great again. There is no saving this place. And these Edomites, these self-proclaimed white people, thinking that they're going to be put back on top because they know that they're losing power. They think that Trump is going to save the Edomites and have them back on top and everyone else is going to be a slave. That's not happening again either. The Lord is about to completely flip the script on these devils and put them where they belong, which is on the bottom. First and foremost, under the Israelites, who are primarily the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And then the Lord is going to have us, the Israelites, on top, these other nations under us, and then Esau, the so-called self-proclaimed white man, woman, and child, they're going to be on the bottom, in the dirt, where they belong. You see, the world is starting to look at these Edomites how they always should have. Like they're nothing. Like they're not fit to rule. Because they're not. These Edomites are not fit to rule. They destroy everything that they touch. They destroy everything they touch. They destroy everywhere that they go. They deserve to be slaves because they can't do anything right. They can't lead. Because if they are leading, they're leading everyone into destruction. That's why everyone who follows them is going to get destroyed. Everyone who is in league with them is going to get destroyed. Especially the wicked of our people. The wicked of our women, these Israelite women that want to, marry these Edomites and have these Edomites kids. Like these wicked women, they're getting wiped out. The Lord's going to wipe them out. Like this is really about to end very badly for a lot of people. But you see, those of us of the hopeful elect who are just focusing on the Lord, focusing on watching and reading and praying and fasting, and fervently and diligently serving the Lord day in and day out to the best of our ability, we're the ones that are going to be protected in these times. And we have faith that the Lord is going to protect us. And as the days go by and things get more chaotic, the Lord shows us that He's still dealing with us. Because, for those of us who live here in America, we're experiencing this chaos too, and we're being affected as well. But see, we trust that the Lord is going to get us through it. So we're not tripping off of it, and we're not worried about it. We already know we're going to have to suffer here. We already know we're going to have to go through that furnace of affliction. But as long as we trust that the Lord is going to bring us through, we're going to be just fine. Regardless of what happens. The scriptures say, he that endureth unto the end shall be saved. So that's what we have to do. That's the mindset that we have to have. No matter what happens, we got to keep pushing. We got to keep going. Trusting in the Lord. Calling on the names of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai for our protection, for our comfort, for our stability, for our wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Because at the end of the day, the Lord is the one pulling the strings, calling the shots, making things happen, not Esau. And that's going to be made very clear in these last days. Like it says in Ezekiel 33 and 33, and when this cometh to pass, lo, it will come. Then shall they know that a prophet have been among them. All the people who have been out here scoffing and scorning at the men of the Lord, blaspheming the names of the Lord, those people are about to suffer in the worst kind of ways. And the men of the Lord and the rest of the hopeful elect are just going to sit back and watch these wicked, carnal, degenerate people suffer for the wickedness that they've done. Watch these people reap what they've sown. So, beautiful times, man. We are in some very beautiful times. And it is DTA all the way. So for all you sincere brothers and sisters, just keep your head up, stay positive, stay prayed up, stay fervent. Because we are at the end of this thing. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up here. In closing, I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Merkakwadash, the Wadi Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, for putting the spirit on me to do this lesson. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to all the brothers who are still fervently pushing the word in sincerity and in faith. And shalom to all the sincere believers. Hope you stay strong, stay safe, stay fervent, stay circumspect, stay prayed up. Adawan Ratazah. Till next time, shalom.